at the hands of Langards. And on the foreign front, talks on border security funding collapsed after Democratic and Republican lawmakers clashed in U.S. Thanks for staying with us. My name is Josh Quinn. We are live on DSTV channel 279. Let's start off from the camp of the NDC, where Central Regional Executives of the party have declared their support for former President John Dramani Mahama. The Central Regional Vice Chairman for the party, Theophilus Edu-Mensah, said the former president is the best candidate for the 2020 elections. Here's a report by Lucy Ayambela.
Central Regional Vice Chairman of the NDC was speaking at the inauguration of working committees at Saltpond in the Infantiman constituency. Various speakers called for unity within the party at the Infantiman constituency. They urged members to work hard to bring the party back to par, as the NPP government has failed Ghanaians. Regional Vice Chair Theophilus Edu-Mensah declared the region's support for former President Mahama.
It has come to our notice that people are deceiving some members, but for us, no John Mahama, no NDC.
Regional Executive Member Kakrayeli also implored supporters to campaign for the former president since he is already well marketed.
John Mahama, why you come on
John Mahama has become a household name. The rest of the presidential candidates are using John Mahama's legacy for their campaign. But if we should vote for JM, NPP will know there is unity in NDC.
Where Kano has denounced the use of violence to score political points. He spoke at a news conference in Kofodia to end his tour of the Eastern region. Here's a report by our regional correspondent Yvonne Ikwe.
Gusitano wondered why government would invest in vigilantes and other security groups, whereas the police force and the military, which were formed constitutionally, lacked resources. He described the Ayawasu West war gun violence as embarrassing to the country's democracy. According to him, the high rate of unemployment is a factor which leads people to form the vigilante groups.
Violence begins and remove violence by additional violence. What we must do is to mobilize civil society, mobilize all sections of the community of Ghana, both at home and abroad, to resist and reject this new violent tendency in our politics and crush it once and for all. Not by violence, but by the sheer strength of the advocacy of the people against such a matter that can disrupt peace and prevent development.
He was worried the issue of vigilantism could affect the nation's peace, pointing to Rwanda and other countries that have suffered same crisis from political violence. He warned politicians who are sponsoring vigilantes that they could become victims of what they create.
We can't afford a situation of the disruption of our peace and security by groups that are sponsored by irresponsible politicians who eventually may be the very victims of these monsters that they have created.
And our work on the abandoned maternity block at the Comfort North Teaching Hospital is expected to resume by June this year, and the project, when completed, will address the current congestion at the mother and baby unit and other wards of the hospital.
Construction of the 900-bed capacity maternity block has halted for over 40 years. Successive governments have failed to carry through promises to complete the project. The block is planned to have close to 10 theaters, 28 consulting rooms, dedicated emergencies diagnostic services for mothers and children, laboratories, scans, training and simulation rooms for teaching. Health professionals are anxious to see the project completion to help improve maternal and child health care in the country.
We are hopeful that this time is not going to be like the previous times when we were promised and yet nothing was done. When completed, we will move the entire maternity block and the entire pediatrics block from the main hospital to this place. And that means the entire A block and the entire B block will be free for other segments of the hospital to expand into.
The Asantehene Otumfuo Setutu II was at the project site with officials of Contractor Engineering Limited to assess the current state of the project.
I'll bring some special ones.
Yeah, this is very special.
The project, when completed, would help address the current congestion at the mother and baby unit and other wards of the hospital.
As soon as the green light is given or the approval is given, we will deliver on schedule. We will not delay as the government is part of the government achievement. And secondly, it's part of Otumfuo Osetutu's 20th anniversary celebration that is coming up beginning of April. So we are ready and waiting for instructions that will move us forward.
In another development, the Asantehene has inspected the redeveloped Kejetia market. Phase 1 of the project, which is 100% complete, is expected to be commissioned soon to boost economic activities in the region. The Asantehene was impressed with the progress of work. He tasked the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to ensure there is fair allocation of stalls. He charged the Assembly to adhere to good maintenance culture after commissioning.
And still the Ashanti region, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has issued a final notice for traders to vacate roads around the new Kejetia terminal. Metropolitan Chief Executive Osei Sibeintri told TV3's Benjamin Edu traders have to make way for reopening of the roads on Monday. The Ashanti Regional Security Council had earlier given traders a 2-week ultimatum to relocate to satellite markets within and beyond Kumasi.
All is set for the roping of roads around the Kejetia redevelopment project. Traders were given some days to vacate to some central markets within and beyond Kumasi metropolis to enable the assembly open the roads so that traffic congestion around that enclave will be a thing of the past. With me here is the mayor of Kumasi. Honorable, we want to find out if indeed where we've reached as far as the issue of reopening of the Kejetia roads is concerned.
Well, as you are aware, we have had several stakeholder engagement whereby we've taken all the major stakeholders to the roadmap towards the opening of the central market phase 1. As part of the roadmap, one of the most important things to do is to open the road, which we have communicated to all the users of the road as at now. I can confidently say that enough education has gone on, and as such, the Metro Security Council have also evaluated the situation. We've gone to the site, walked through the city, interacted with the major stakeholders. Then from our end, reports were made to the Regional Security Council, and the Regional Security Council has also evaluated the reports that we sent to them. From Monday going, we will kickstart the exercise.
So what signal are you picking from the grounds if indeed the traders are really ready to vacate from those places that you want them to vacate?
It's not about readiness to move. Because the question is that roads are made for vehicles to use. Roads are not made to be used as a hawking place. And please, they know the several markets that are available to them for them to go. It's not that we are moving them from where they are doing their current business and they don't have any place to go. So having 34 markets within the city, outlining it to them, showing it to them, I don't think that they will be so recalcitrant not to move. We all need to help one another because it's our city, and as such, we shouldn't behave as if the city authorities are against them. The city authorities are not against them. The city authorities are seeking for a proper place for them to do their business. Some have started moving to a Fiakobi market, which I congratulate them. So I know the others will also have to follow suit.
Thank you very much. You heard me speaking to the mayor of Kumasi with regards to the reopening of the roads around the KJT redevelopment project. From Kumasi, my name is Benjamin Edu for TV3 News.
And still in the Ashanti region, a rainstorm which hit the Amansia West district of the region has killed an 11-year-old class 3 pupil of the Dominasi DA primary school. Frederick Kofi Tweneboa died on the spot when a building 7 as a home collapsed on him. And here's a report by Benjamin Edu.
Several homes, including churches and mosques, were affected. 8 schools and a district education office within the Amansia West district was also affected. A total of 1,915 people have been displaced. Affected residents are putting up with relatives and friends. 16 residents are receiving treatment at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, as well as the Manso Kwanta and St. Martin's hospitals. Some schools have also been closed down and others have to conduct classes under trees. The paramount chief of Manso Kwanta traditional area, Nana B. Kwesi Apia, appealed to government to come to their aid. The Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Nana Ajiman Prempe, attributed the disaster to lack of maintenance and failure to plant trees as wind breaks around homes.
As a result of the lack of culture of maintenance in all aspects, we don't maintain our houses. The rains will come. You can't beat nature. The rains will come, the winds will come, and others. But we must as a nation work towards much culture.
The Amansia West District Chief Executive assured efforts are being made to support victims.
We have visited them and then we are doing our best to support those people who were injured. So we will support them with their bills and then other things.
Some communities in the Adanse North District and the Etrima Wabieja municipality have also been hit by rainstorms, displacing scores of residents.
If you just tune in and watch news here on Newday with me, George Quinn. And now some contractors in the Esunafo South District of the Bono-Afo region have abandoned school projects that were awarded to them for execution last year. And here's a report by Larry Parkwisi Moses.
CISO is a community of rural dwellers who are into farming and hunting. For several years, their children travel 4 kilometers to attend junior high school in the outerlink communities. A groundbreaking ceremony took place in November last year to signal the construction of a 3-unit JHS block for their children. 3 months after the groundbreaking ceremony, the contractor had not appeared on site to execute the project, which was scheduled for completion in June this year. The JHS students and their teachers have no option but to continue to hold classes in a wooden structure.
Every blessed day when you called, he's making proposals to come to site, but he never come to site. He even told us to get a warehouse for him to keep all his materials that he will be using for the project. The chief got a very nice warehouse for him, but since then up to date, we've not heard from him.
The Sustainable Mission Aid is an NGO tasked to monitor the execution of local government-initiated projects under the GJA Star Ghana Local Governance Accountability Program.
We have done several works on this in terms of civil society scorecards and then community scorecards. But the results that are coming clearly from the community members shows that in terms of execution, community members are not satisfied with the work.
The Eagle Power Limited is the construction firm that has won the bid to construct the school block and the sanitation facilities at a contract sum of 273,000 Ghana cedis. But just as the monitoring team was about to leave the grounds, a tipper truck with sand appeared and started to dislodge its content on the school's premises. Meanwhile, at the Presbyterian Primary School at Kukwom, work was ongoing for the 6-unit classroom block. The Esunafo South District Chief Executive Osei Bonsu said the projects are being financed by the District Assembly's internally generated fund.
And agric extension officers have been urged to adopt improved innovations and sound agronomic practices for increased food production. The advice was given at the launch of the Ghana Extension System Strengthening Project in the Bono Ahafo Regional Capital, Sunyani.
Ghana Extension System Strengthening Project would be implemented in the Bono Ahafo and northern regions within a period of 3 years. According to the Bono Ahafo Project Officer, Isaac Ejay, 1,120 village-based extension advisors would be trained to reach out to 336,000 farmers.
The task, therefore, is enormous because agric, as you do know, is a wide area. So we need a comprehensive approach. And that approach, as you can see, is being unfolded, rolled out systematically.
The Bono Ahafo Regional Minister, Evans Opoku Bobie, urged stakeholders to pool their resources together for a successful implementation. The Programs Officer for the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, Regina Richardson, stressed the need for farmers to use smart agricultural technologies to produce quality staple foods.
The only challenge I see is not partnering, but once we partner, I believe this project will be successful to support the farmers and to improve agriculture in Ghana as a whole.
Away from Sunyani, let's move to the capital Accra, where residents of Pantan, Abokobi and surrounding communities in the Ghana East municipality are living in a state of extreme fear and distress at the hands of land guards. For some time now, these land guards have been on the rampage, destroying property belonging to some residents in the area.
The land guards are being used as enforcers to terrorize residents in Pantan, Abokobi and surrounding communities. They have demolished walls and buildings, creating fear and panic among residents. The land guards also extort money from property owners and developers. According to some of the residents, the police and local authorities are not helping to bring an end to the menace of land guards. A resident and a retired army officer, Samuel Gozi, indicated these land guards double as armed robbers at night.
We don't even sleep. Sleepless night that we are having. Our children going to school become difficult. People's property that they've acquired for so many years, they will only use one day to destroy it. Anybody who encroaches on my land, I have a gun, I have lances it. So anybody who comes there, whatever happens, is out of the order.
This area used to be a recreation center. It has been razed down by the land guards. A resident, Ben Tete, noted the land guards do not care about documents covering property they destroy.
It has been a threat. So we, the residents over here, we made an association. But we could see that the association is not holding any longer because they'll come and threaten you.
Another resident, David Gray, observed their complaints to the police and the local authority have fallen on deaf ears.
It's a security threat to the whole community. We've gone to the police, we've gone to the BNI. I don't know which other office I have not gone or which other office has not even received letters. And day in, day out, you'd see people's buildings and fence walls being demolished.
Inspector General of Police David Asantia-Pietu assured the country last year that the police administration will deal with the land guard menace.
Any act of land guards and people calling themselves vigilantes that will infringe upon the laws of the land shall be met with the full might of the Ghana Police Service. The job of the police is to enforce the law without fear or favor. The police are determined to respect the Constitution in maintaining law and order with high degree of impartiality and professionalism.
Just last week, some land guards led by an officer were arrested in the Kaswa Nyenyano area.
Quite a worrying situation there. And now let's delve into the international front, where talks on border security funding collapsed after Democratic and Republican lawmakers clashed over immigrant detection policy as they work to avert another U.S. government shutdown, a Republican senator said on Sunday. The talks are stalled right now. Republican Senator Richard Shelby told Fox News Sunday he said the impasse was over Democrat desire to cap the number of beds in detention facilities for people who enter the country illegally. And that's how we end news here on Newday. Remember, you can get more news updates on our website. It's freenews.com. Newday continues right after this break. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Please don't cut it, otherwise you take off a chair. We don't want that. We've not reached that. It's praise and worship time in church.
This same God that we all serve, that Yenimu and Goase,
right?
Does it include Chelsea fans?
Oh, please don't let them wake up to that. We don't want people to commit suicide. So indeed, yes, it does include them. Because you see, despite what they are going through, God will cause them to shine. And may the church say amen.
Amen.
Yes, 6-0 there's no easy.
Somebody told me that the lion in the Chelsea logo, he's left. He's left the team.
He's embarrassed.
You know, he's embarrassed.
That's
why the team is
dead. Because
after
the loss, yes, as they were like 4, the Lions
started
to take a few steps, and I think by now he's out of the emblem.
Beginning this morning, make it your project. If you meet a Chelsea fan, give them a warm hug. They need it.
And maybe a cup of tea just to.
Hey,
but I don't know how they slept. If they slept well, good morning, Chelsea fans. But Arsenal fans, hey, good morning.
Legendary 6-0.
But Johnny, it's not easy. The last time was 2007, I think.
Some storms are just to clear your path and reposition you.
Just repositioning is at the bottom now. It's going down the league table. But Charlie, Chelsea fans, our condolences to you. Be strong. Have faith in the Lord that what he has said is true. He will not allow you to be shaken.
Chelsea fans. Good morning to all our friends who are.
I think Petra is a Chelsea fan, and she put up a post that it's not wise for a couple to be in the same team because who consoles you when you have a defeat like this? Petra, good morning to you and your husband, Mr. Samuel, this morning. I hope you are doing well. I hope you had a pretty good night.
What a night it was. Okay,
how was a brief for you? The mountains, you ascended, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why it didn't happen?
There was a lot to do on the
mountains. It was fun.
And I saw you at the beaches.
Yeah.
Yes, right now I'm there. Which capture?
Do you have a drone or something?
I'm sure Amma now uses drones to track people.
And it's my house.
Anyway, good morning now to you. The wonderful Monday morning. I'm excited. That piece, that High Life tune is very
solid.
Yeah.
Tego Sisters. Amazing.
I like it.
Amazing. There's been a debate out there that gospel singers, or if you like, songsters, who deserve the Lifetime Achievement Awards and the Vision, they should be given some as well.
Yeah.
You realize that no gospel star has been given that honor.
That kind of.
I don't remember. No gospel star either would go to a High Life or CBSA or get it or something like that. But no gospel star from Elijah Abraham to Elder Miracle to Tego Sisters, Daughters of Glorious Jesus. Nobody has gone. All these people have sung for more than 30 years. If you're looking at a generation, that's 30 years. Lifetime Achievement, they deserve it.
Yeah, maybe they would have to put in, a category that will include that, even though it's lifetime. Because I think when we do VGMs, we tend to look at the other genres other than Christian music. Because you even realize that we haven't had many gospel artists win Artist of the Year, apart from
Joe Metal is the only one.
Yes, he is the only one. And it seems it will be difficult for another person to, get that. So I think if they create another category to sort of look at the gospel music in a different space, then maybe these people would also be.
But why must it be so?
Award?
For me, I mean, it's just like saying that African student wins international award.
Right.
Why do you need to put
Johnny,
a tag?
Unfortunately, it's just difficult when you have to compare things of that caliber, like things in a Christian sphere and things of the worldly sphere, as we would put it. It just turns out to be a bit difficult to, put them on a similar scale. I agree. Music is music. It's just the way we are conditioned to think about these things. That when we talk about popular music, everyone's mind goes on non-Christian music as against, gospel. So
somebody sent me this message yesterday. It says, my brother, if she insists that she will eat pizza or chocolate on Valentine's Day, tell her to go and read Numbers chapter 9 verse 11. The scripture is specific on the kind of food to be taken on the 14th of February. And Numbers chapter 9 verse 11 reads, in the 2nd month, on the 14th day, in the evening, they shall keep it. They shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. You get it? So on that day, Valentine's Day,
unleavened bread and bitter herbs is similar to pizza. So if we ask you to go and buy it, what's wrong with that? The person he didn't understand the scripture well. You should come with
pizza is bread and stew.
I think unleavened bread and bitters, I think it's the same thing.
Is it? It's about the same. Bitter leaf.
Yes,
it's about the same. You've not, so the scripture is even on the part of the female. So unfortunately, he's lost the battle there.
But bitter is not bitter.
It is. It depends on the flavor the mixture you are asking for. You can have one with just herbs and then the bits of the salsa paste, and then master, you lost. But guys, what do you want for Val's?
He's only trying to ward off.
Don't mind him, but it's unfortunate. It won't work. You see, I hear you guys are tired of the singlets and the boxers and the handkerchiefs. Someone says, "I know you would do for the woman handkerchief." So at this juncture, what do you want?
No, I'm not tired.
You're not tired. You like it.
We like mobile money too.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah, we too like.
And I was hearing interesting comments. People said jerseys. People thought maybe a spa, day out would be nice because women are the ones who are always waiting for those treats. But I guess it's because women don't think men would enjoy those. So tell us, maybe you should. We know it's the box line like that one. You don't buy, so if we buy for you, we are helping you.
Somebody said the man is always demanding from the woman, and then somebody said, "Well, have you offered him money and he refused?"
He has refused.
He didn't refuse your money, so give him.
All right.
Yes,
we're grateful that you joined us this morning from now to 9 a.m. Our duty is to make you excited. It's a Monday morning, the first day of the week, and I'm happy. February is quite exciting. The dynamics are different. Things seem to be moving on. We're just waiting to see how things will go. It promises to be exciting. There's a lot more to talk about.
Tomorrow, Daily Rant, we're talking about the Commission of Inquiry.
Right.
I think Justice Emil Short, Commission of Inquiry. Last week we were asking you whether it was necessary or not, but this week there's a different angle to that particular conversation.
Johnny, look, I'm thinking that we should face the fact like men, okay? And I'm not trying to suggest that women are not included. Let us face it. Look, I heard Mr. Kofi Abuchi, the secretary to the commission,
lawyer Kofi Abuchi,
when he was questioned that you cannot use the evidence that will be given by people you call to go and use it to prosecute them in court. Do you know what he said?
No.
He said, the police can also do a parallel investigations and use that in court. Then I said, if that is the case, why won't you allow the police to do it?
Exactly, because the police started the investigation anyway.
Yes.
But I don't think that will be possible, because from how we understand it, if the Commission of Inquiry asks anything, if you say anything at that sitting, you can't take it back to court, because that will be double jeopardy. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm not sure.
Are we abusing the...
I personally would
in the judicial process.
If we're being true to ourselves, I think we are.
I remember I remember even the Justice Archer Committee. You remember on the police service, what their duties should be. That it happened in 1999.
I think so.
By 10 years, the police should have been the security services or private security services should have been well positioned to take over bank guard duties, for example, from the police. It's been 10 years. The police are still guarding our banks. 10 years. So when we set up commissions because something happened and the recommendations are there, do we follow the recommendations?
Not really.
And
I think that's why we go that way, because we probably have a mindset of what we want to execute. And so if we ask you to give us recommendations, it's almost as if just give us the recommendations so that it becomes a book we'll keep somewhere, but no one will implement it.
And the president,
so then what's the point?
President of the day will have the right to say, I want to implement it or not. If you present a report and he takes it and he puts it down, what would you do?
And look at the argument for the special prosecutor. All of us agreed, or we came to be to understand that the reason why we cannot fight corruption is that Amma belongs to my party. I am the Attorney General. Amma is the Minister of Finance. Because we are in the same party, I can't take on Amma if she flouts the law. Now we are setting up a commission. This is my simple understanding. That will have the president say that I want this done, I want that done, I don't want this done. Okay, the people who will be called, why? Won't some of them belong to the president party? Do you see the argument I'm making?
I see it.
So it's the same thing. We are saying that because we cannot fight corruption because the people are in a party, whatever recommendations will be, the president will have to take decisions against people in his own party.
Right.
And so he
the question
can use the argument.
Is the president ready to take that decision?
Okay. We hope so. Well, we've seen the president take some drastic measures. We've even seen some ministers go away in his governance. So I don't think it's something he can't do. However,
well, there's only one deputy minister who
the point is not to say that no precedent, and I don't mean this certain precedent.
Yeah.
Presidents who have had to take decisions from commissions, they argue the fact that they cannot prosecute their own, and so we have a special prosecutor. Can the president take a decision against his own?
Right.
Can the president do that?
No. See, and that's where the argument of even putting together the Ministry of Justice and the Attorney General position together. Because the Attorney General is supposed to be the president's legal advisor. The Minister for Justice is supposed to ensure that, so you put both together, you're causing trouble. It's just like making the Chief of Defense Staff the IGP. You're causing trouble.
Let's see. The sitting starts today, so that's today's 11th.
Today's 11th.
So
but as to whether it will be made public or not, we still
I don't think so. We did not hear any information as to whether it will be made public. But you get a chance to contribute to the conversation, and
but if you had a choice, if the president asked your opinion, would you want it to be public
or
private? Why?
Yes, I want it to be public. But
I
to the extent that I don't even want the commission.
Well, that's a part. That one is dealt with already because the commission is there.
I don't want the commission because if we have a police service that is investigating, that could do all the investigations and bring people to book. The point is, people have condemned what happened at Ayawaso West. Wogon. It's not Wogon. It's Wogon. Honey Hill. People have condemned it. Beyond the condemnation was it?
So let's see how it goes.
But cyber security, because it's a big threat where people are being, doing all manner of things on internet, especially young people. I'm worried about the youth, because in as much as you want your children to learn things on the internet, we have to guard what they're watching and what they're using and what they're accessing, because we've got all manner of perpetrators on there and luring young people into difficult. It's a difficult time, even though we've got internet, which is supposed to be good, but it's got the negative sides, and we have to make sure we're policing the system.
You know that in our makeup, in our traditional setting, we don't value stranger danger. So there's an old person who comes here and we are pushing, that's your uncle. We'll help the person or whatever it is. It's the same mindset that I think people take onto the internet. So they get on there, somebody is asking them, somebody from nowhere.
And even there is faceless.
Exactly.
And so it makes it
somebody
even more
from nowhere, you don't know, you can't identify who it's, and it's behind. Sometimes it could use a female's photo or it could use an old man's photo. And it could be a young person luring you and getting you to do. It's serious. And we need to reorient. We need to reorient our minds. Parents would be able to flag some of their sites and things, but they have phones.
And now the children are smarter than the parents, unfortunately. And so even though you're blocking certain sites, they've got a way around it. And so
look, once you buy them an Android phone or a smartphone, they're good to go. They go any and everywhere. The other time I had one of my nieces, her father took her phone and deleted some pictures that some people had sent to her on WhatsApp. Deleted everything. It was an iPhone. Then as soon as the father left, he was laughing. Said, "Uncle, you know why I'm laughing?" I said, "No."
Retrieve it all.
I can retrieve them all from there.
Because she's backed it up.
But Daddy thinks that
is off.
She's deleted everything. He says Daddy is too old. He doesn't know what is happening.
I see. Okay.
Anyway, but also touch on allocation of 3% DSCF for persons with disabilities. Isn't that? I think
last Friday we went to Lejokuku. Deep revelations, and I've come to realize that the revelations that come out from the Community Connect outside broadcast, when we had at Kaneshi, when we had at Lejokuku, we'll go to maybe Martino Adenta sometime soon. Shocking. they have guidelines to help them disperse the funds.
Right.
They have fund managers, they have this, they have that, they have that. And yet they themselves break the law.
Right.
The laws that they've given unto themselves to help themselves, they break them. So then you're thinking, these are our brothers and sisters who, for no fault of theirs, have found themselves in a certain predicament. We have all agreed as a nation to give them 3% of the common fund to help them. And then there are people in there who are doing all manner of... I say, how? Then I got to realize that at Lejokuku, for example, even it's gone to a point where even Iyoko has had to come in. So there's
because
a woman...
of the 3%.
Yes. So there's a woman who was looking for shackles for what do you call it? A kid, you know, to help. The woman has gone to procure them. She's supposed to bring the receipt to come in. And then Iyoko says, I smell foul play. It's taking more than 4-5 years
to deal with it.
To just release funds. So it's so sad.
Johnny,
it's so sad. You see, somebody has applied for the funds. It's taking more than 4 years. Meanwhile, the funds come every quarter. So who gets the money?
You see, Johnny, the bigger problem, okay, for me, is from the center. You know, common fund is always in arrears.
Right.
That's how the system runs.
Right.
So we are in the first quarter now. I am sure not every assembly has received the first quarter.
Even some have not even received for
last
exactly.
quarter. Yeah. So you see where the problem is. This is where it starts. The center is unable to send the money when it is needed.
But the money is always available.
Well, Johnny, if we care about persons with disability, should we keep their money at the center?
But the money is always available. That's my point.
Yes,
Look, if you go to Kanishi Market this morning, they'll be collecting tolls.
Yeah.
If you go to Makola, they will collect. If you go to Kejetia, Edum, wherever it is, they'll be collecting tolls.
Yeah.
If you go through, like we went to Ayimesa the other time, they took tolls from us. If you're coming from Tema, they'll take toll, wherever it is. So there's always money available. And this money has to go into a certain account so that it will be transferred.
So the thing is, does it get there?
So I am thinking that maybe we should have another conversation about this common fund thing, because look, if you delay sending them their money, they run into trouble.
Right.
So when you delay sending the common fund, it means that it affects them.
Right.
So you put an application, waiting for it, and it doesn't get to the district. And the district can't give you the money until they have received the money from the center. So the problem starts right from the center into the district.
And I also realized, and my conversation with Mr. Oforida, he's, I think, board chairman for the National Council of Persons with Disability, even the monitoring and evaluation that they have to do, they themselves, the council, they don't do it. Because your guideline says every district must bring you their report of the disbursement, how much they got, who they gave the money to, what they procured for what. And most of the district, as of the last time we went to Lejokuku, about three quarters were in arrears. The reports were in arrears. And he says, I have not gotten them. And I said, so how do you do any serious monitoring? You're on the council board. How do you do any monitoring?
All right. We'll talk about
Look, and people are here talking about the fact that we need to increase the allocation to 5%.
Even the 3,
we have not done justice with the 3. There may be a lot of leakages and loopholes.
That's where the
if
problem
you manage
is.
it well, everybody will get some.
That's where the problem is. I think maybe if it gets to the district assemblies, the management is not so difficult because already it's pretty little. So whatever applications have come in, though disbursed. But like Bright said, it's getting it in the first place. The leakages are too many. The tolls, we know they are collecting them. Have we seen any changes even on our streets? No, because people, will siphon it and it will end up in people's pockets. But if we think about people with disability in Ghana, I don't think it's a priority, because if it was, Johnny, for many years where we've been having these arrears, would have been pushing for it actively. But we talk about it, we all rant and rave, and then we forget about it.
Our local governance structure is good, but we are not following through. And on that note, let me say good morning to you, Ajia Alima Mahama, Minister for Local Governance. Good morning to you. This falls right on your lap, madam. Good morning to you one more time. Ensure that the money comes. Being a minister is good, it's enough, it's big, but if the people are not getting their money to disburse, there's no point.
Okay.
There's really no point.
All right. So let's run this morning, and we're talking about the commission. Your chance to talk about it too.
Good
Good morning and welcome to Daily Rant here on Newday. My name is George Quinn, and this morning we're talking about the Ayawaso West Wogan by-election violence because government has set a commission of inquiry to look into the matter, and that a commission is led by former Shraj boss Justice Emily Short. And concerns are that this very commission will not bring anything important based on precedents. And so what is the public saying with regards to this very commission? Will they bring finality to the matter? Because people are even scared because 2020 is going to be bloody considering this violence at the by-election. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
Say, enquire political will be there because I say your particular party be no regime is here. This is some enquire BB in favor of Mudia, and it's a good news.
Also, BB a bit favor like how I don't.
And some now report now. You never out to know. If you are not favor mu. Aha, you know. Say I'm favor mu there. Na if you are in there, fine.
Me so that make say good news. But the thing is, some better video no. No me dey ejuma dey me many beji.
I'm sure you'll be working with the video because that's more like an evidence.
Yes, evidence all right too. But the thing is, right now no, say na asem na ko echire no. Charlie, we sorry ya na boot for boot no hu kinya wani na be meeting at least me kwan there enime ya wasa nkofo ne wo manime pie that's why say be ma share max ba wo nchi o ma mo share max ni ya na aka ni na o meba oh meba yesi ya
na we
me I do me who committee I say Fambra. What is committee where waste of taxpayers money nkofo go tinasi edijanum tea.
These are noble people on the commission. Noble people on the commission.
But the thing is, those on the committee, they've served under the government before, and we know
but
that.
So what the mischief way for you?
And your mischief, wow, win him.
Minim.
Okay, win him, mami minim.
Okay.
Former IGP name.
I don't want you Ghana for.
I'm Ghana for. But the thing is, they've served under the government before.
And so, like,
and we want them to be transparent.
Okay.
So what you say? That's the only thing that we want. We want them to be transparent.
Is that what you also want?
Say me kind say Adewe ehun nkofo go tinasi anuti adi lunch aji per diem asomu akom baby nipa na onu oyade no brand example osi onu eno on strategy as nkofo say omkoya ade no muchine say asa oni nkofo on strategy omai. So why the committee, why the waste of taxpayers money, and then we go back and forth say, oh, where is it? Nkofo no, they've been exposed. Uko social media, their faces are all over the place. Which I say, Nipa also want instruction mono. Also want no. It is just arrest them, arrest the person or invite the person. The person will show those who are wearing the masks, and let's move on.
What I would like to say is, committee, Ghana here, since if there's any issue, they form committee. Since when have you have any positive impact from forming committee? They just form committee, they report to...
So with this one, be optimistic, say maybe something good will come out of it.
Something good. The National Security Minister have come out to admit that he is the one that sent the guys. They are national security operatives, hoodlums, dressed in masks, attacking innocent civilians. Then committee to stop. There are videos, and when you go on social media, their images are all over.
So if there are videos, the commission will use that as key evidence to, you know.
When you catch a thief, and you know that this is the thief that stole my thing, so are you going to take the thief to the police station and say, oh, I saw this person, but it looked like this person was not this person. It is the thief. Master, arrest the person. Let the person know that these people visit mayhem on innocent civilians. Those who are going to cast their vote and their ballot, walking about innocently, and they sent people in masks with guns, machetes, axes. Okay. Master, these are hoodlums. These are these are tax. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that this committee, we've had stadium disaster committee, white paper. Where is it? Nothing. No one has been prosecuted. So Master, it is useless.
The thing is, the earlier no, I told you say, it's like a particular party be no power. Okay. And now I confirm with say on Suman Crawford no, or several under that government.
What I say? So anytime I say, if report somebody bano, and go favor mudia, fine. But 7 favor mudia near, Mijiri say Ghana phone so,
the police were about to make press conference the next day, that was on 1st February. Why didn't it happen? Because national security let them know that look, we know these guys, so just stay aloof. So that's why they just couldn't have the distance. The government is just trying to do something for us to see that they are doing something. That's all.
The police Mu complain say Abaye Nyeshi about it. What's the name? The president should come and condemn this. The same people are more bashi Abaye. What's up about okay? Let me set a commission to look into it. What's up say Abaye wasting money.
Just call your national security minister the presidency to call those guys, and why would give them that audacity to go election, you said guys with guns. Oh, didn't you watch the video? A home MP was just being assaulted, slapped, left.
I didn't watch that video.
You didn't watch that video.
You didn't watch that video.
Who don't watch this video?
He didn't watch that video.
George, maybe you want more.
This interview should not continue.
See,
George, I've not watched the video.
George, listen. Let me tell you something.
George, he was invited to national the headquarters.
I heard some judge was heckled, but I've not watched it.
You don't say heckled. He was assaulted.
I know, sir. I think sometimes also more primo social media. You know, no. Don't write. I say, you know, now the social media is detecting for traditional media. I know, sir. It's on social media. Okay, say the videos are in social media. But wait, traditional media, we established stuff.
Are you safe?
Are we safe?
Are you safe?
Why are you asking that question?
Because a journalist who is undercover journalist was identified and shot. Okay, as a journalist, are you happy? Are you okay?
No, we have to condemn it. I need there. It's no good.
If you can condemn a journalist being shot, you will not condemn.
I will equally condemn this one too. This violence.
So the people that shot the journalist, we don't know them. People say they saw them, but they can't give a vivid description about
Police is investigating that matter.
Good, but these are people,
artists.
These are people who are holding guns at when they were training, before they even wear those masks, took pictures on their social media.
But let's be hopeful, sir. This commission will bring to finality this matter.
George, Nebo, are you on social media?
I'm not active.
No, are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm not active.
So can you say any information that you put there is not true?
Who puts there? Who? When I put what?
Any information on social media, true or false?
I'm very careful of what I put on social media.
So does it mean that this video that's coming out was made up by only social media?
I don't know, but I've not watched it.
No,
I've not watched
asking a question. So if I'm coming, they were there. Now, if Swali was shown on TV for him to be murdered, and this video is still trending on social media, so what is preventing us from getting these guys?
It's not a joke. It's like a war field. I was there.
And you run. Where did you go? Where are you?
I was a polling agent at Abelenpe. You understand? Even there, which is calm, you should have seen.
Agent for what party?
NDC. Okay. Heavily built men, men, not less than 10. And you ask yourself, look, when I ran to one police and I asked the policeman, police, into to me, boy, or see me, misro. That's how serious the thing is. See, the president can come and whitewash everything, pay lip service to this thing, make it as if everything is fine and glossy. See, it is serious. See, Ghana, we are not safe, honestly.
Okay. How scared or relaxed should we be in preparation to the 2020 elections?
You see, some people have started beating the war drum yet, but to me, what I would say is, Ghana belongs to us, and no one will come and make Ghana, but we the Ghanaians.
Say you di sa adweno ekọ 2020 a ne ne besi wa Ghana enye anhwe muja be hwegu. So until e be sisa adwen ye mpenifo a omo behind it no. Ne di unfair so be tina say I'm the one who gave the order. Me na me catch am say me na me I say they don't think about us. Omo ju omo yefu no because any other month one G kura 17,000 18,000 waja she no allowances waja she no waja say until ye mpenifo omo chisa omo adwen na ye Ghana for no so no ye oman no ye say adwen no say ya na be ko no.
See, George, until the civil society, the clergy, the imams, and the moral society start speaking. But
they've been speaking, even what's his name, Reverend Asante, Peace Council. I know he spoke, condemned this and all that. So.
I don't want to go into that. But I'm telling you that if I want to go to, maybe I'll speak against the man.
When the president said boots for boot, yeah, he condemned it.
But until he spoke, somebody had to speak before he came out and say, this is not good. But let me tell you, when some political party is in power, others find their voices. When one is in power, others feel like everything they do is okay. And it's like this country, we are divided. People think that others are human more than others. 2020, if you don't take time, if people don't start speaking, if people don't make their voices heard, if they fold their arms and watch Animal Kingdom, as some pastors will say, they prefer watch Animal Kingdom. I hope they are still watching it. It does not come to an end. They will find their voices when other political parties in power. When others are in power, they keep quiet and keep mute. They don't see evil, speak no evil, see no evil, know no evil. But I'm telling you, everybody, we need to speak.
Okay. I think the police must be independent. It's about time the police council should elect the IGP. We should sit. There should be a national constitutional reforms so that the police council should be independent. The police should elect their hierarchy of leadership. We should stop this a new government to come and appoint its own IGP, because you could see on last video, security men were around and hoodlums were beating people and they were just standing aloof. They were helpless. So it's about time you all stand that security service should elect their own leadership. No government should come and appoint IGP and transfer and a whole lot of. It's about time.
Clearly, the public is not comfortable, don't have, hope in the Commission of Inquiry set to look into the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election violence. And for them, they want to see more reforms to make the police independent. And let's know what you also think watching home. Just log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's TV3 Ghana, and on Twitter, it's a news TV3. We came to you from Nima here at Accra. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Okay. Welcome back to the show this morning. The newspapers are ready. We'll take a look at them. We'll be talking a lot about what it's happening tomorrow. The president is expected to lay some constitutional instrument to get the new regions to come into effect. Daily Graphic this morning has, God has blessed Ghana abundantly. President says it's motivation to build a national cathedral. That's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Child Rights International bemoans surge in abuse of children. Mr. Bright appears photograph is here, and the chief of Achim Abadom was abducted, and the police has arrested 8 people. We'll take a look at that. The Ghanaian Times talks about senior high school and says SHS to remain free for all as government rejects suggestions for rich parents to pay. Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh's photograph is there. And varsity education to be reduced to 3 years. There's a lot about this issue. The Minister of Education suggesting that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh's comment or statement has been taken out of context. Perhaps in the course of the conversation, we'll get to the ministry for some more clarification. Now, telcos to sue perpetrators of fiber cuts, and President to present CIS on new regions to chiefs and people. And more local investors show interest in economy. That's the Business and Financial Times this morning. Free Zones seeks land from chiefs. That's a story on the BNFT this morning. My guest to do the talking this morning, Member of Parliament for the Afutu constituency, is a member of the NPP, Honorable Alexander Afenyomarkin is here. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I hope you're doing great.
By the grace. If you permit me, because you've talked about local investors.
Right.
Over the weekend, I was in the Western region. I was disappointed in seeing Ghana bauxite having over 80 trucks on the roads. Ghana bauxite, owned by Bozai, has the license to mine. Now, for transportation of the ore from Awasu to Takrade, about 15 years ago when I was operating in that sector, that was the sole reserve of locals, Ghanaian entrepreneurs. Now, I think that on the blind side of the Minerals Commission and the ministry, they themselves have imported their trucks and hauling. And they are getting exemptions for importation duty. Meanwhile, a local entrepreneur who import trucks pays duty. So I think Minerals Commission should take this up immediately, stop Bozai from operating trucks, because they have a license to mine, not a license to transport. They have their own trucks mining and transporting. How do you protect local industry? Ghanaian businessmen who are operating in transport sector cannot operate because you have 80 trucks. If you compare that to manganese at Nsuta, they have allowed local transporters to transport their ore. And I think it's a very serious matter that Minerals Commission and the Ministry of Lands may not be aware. I was so disappointed because I know that sector very well. And if the locals are allowed to operate, and if we don't promote Ghanaian businessmen, I'm not against foreign investors, but the aspect that locals are supposed to take up, authorities, policymakers should be more vigilant in ensuring that our locals take up that sector so that we can grow our economy.
We'll get to the Minerals Commission and follow up the issue. Grateful.
In fact, I'm going to write officially to the chief executive. Why those Ghana boxers had to get exemptions and then operate. They are 2019, having brought over 60 trucks some 3-4 years ago and pushing out the local businessmen from that sector because they procure loans to do that, and you bring cheap trucks from China to come and still take over transportation. Then what is the value chain? What are you doing for the value chain?
All right, I'm grateful for your time with us. Also in the studio, Member of Parliament for the Daklu constituency, a member of the ND's Honorable Kwame Agboja Associate. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing great.
I'm doing great. It's just interesting to listen to my very good friend talk about local people given the opportunity. A local, a national, an entrepreneur of Ghana was venturing into the bauxite mining and processing in this country. His government, out of vindictiveness, took the whole thing away and gave it to Chinese. And somebody is only doing the haulaging. You are complaining. You have actually elbowed a Ghanaian. I'm talking about Ibrahim Mahama, simply because his surname is Mahama and a brother of a former president. You've elbowed him, and you are now complaining about just haulaging. Somebody have invested millions of dollars as a Ghanaian national. You've elbowed him. So you see where we politicians talk from different sides of our mouth. I 100% agree with him that certain sectors, certain activities in this country, whether it is going to be by China or America, should be reserved for our locals. And I don't see why you should be able to bring even trucks to haulage. Simple one. There's no technology required. We can do that.
Which a local person
can do. I don't see why you need a foreigner to do that one. But I'm saying that let's look at it holistically. If a Ghanaian invests millions of dollars in that same sector, you elbow him, create all sorts of things just because you don't like his face, and then somebody is doing the same. You can't be speaking. On principle. It could only be because it suits you. You talk about it. If it doesn't suit you, you ignore it.
Right. Just a quick response, because he's made a serious statement. I mean, with all due respect, it is okay to do politics with issues, but it is also important that you lay the facts bare. The issue of Ibrahim Mahama has been to the court. The court has pronounced on the matter. Don't come here and say that Ibrahim, because his brother is John Mahama, somebody has. Please, it is not grounded on fact. Stop it. I mean, that's all I will say. I will not go further.
Okay, but that is his opinion.
Yes, but I'm trying to, on this platform, I'm saying that opinion is not well grounded on fact. A matter between a company and the state has resulted in that company filing a suit. The court has determined the matter on its merit. It is for you and I as parliamentarians to rely on those facts than to go to the gallery and play mischief. This morning I've raised a point. Is Mr. Ibrahim not still operating in the mines? He's still doing business with GNPC? If you are not aware. Okay. He's still working in the... Hold on, no, Kwame, let's be fair.
The principle here...
Can we stick to the principle? I need to make the point. The principle is that we should promote local business.
Which you agree?
I agree. Again, if we want to say that a local businessman is being attacked by government because of partisan affiliation, we should have the facts. Okay? I'm saying to him that Mr. Ibrahim Mahama is doing business in this country. Still doing business. And I've given him 2 examples. If you want to talk about the issue of the mining of bauxite and all that, I'm saying that the matter has been to the court. He's sued. The court has ruled on the matter. With respect, if you want to do politics with it, then rely on the pronouncement of our court. Unless otherwise you want to say today that our institutions are not supposed to be respected.
Can I ask you a question?
Please
are
go
you
ahead.
saying that the court has ruled, so Kwame cannot have an opinion?
Please, I am saying that the court has ruled. Therefore, Kwame should be guided by those facts that are matters of record, rather than saying that he has been. You see, he's speaking on authority that the man has been denying because.
In fact, I use the word elbowed out of the thing. So you say he has been elbowed.
I'm grateful. You see,
Let's move on.
He's now doing semantics. He's now been elbowed. No.
All right. The president is expected to lay some constitutional instruments on the new regions. We're told by the finder that that constitutional instrument will give power or legal backing to the creation of the 6 new regions. That's the story in the finder. Let's start the conversation on this because already we're getting issues of some communities asking that those communities be made capitals, and a man is somewhere in the Bono Afo region. We'll be getting to him particularly on the issue of Nkoranza in the Bono East region. But Kwame, this issue of capitals, how do we handle it so that it does not lead to a situation where the ultimate aim of creating these regions will be met?
Well, good morning to you, Bright. Good morning to my good friend, honorable member for Efutu, and a businessman. Good morning to your cherished viewers, especially those viewing us from the Adaklu constituency. Bright, I think we are in the last phase of series of processes leading to the creation of some 6 new regions, and the location of the regional capitals is one of those processes to host the administrative headquarters of those regions. We've had lengthy debates over months, if not years, regarding the merits and demerits of these, the creation of these regions. It's quite clear that some work needed to be done to be able to create the towns to host these regions as headquarters to avoid problems in terms of people accepting it. It will not be the first time. Even when you create districts, these things come up. People want the district capital here, and others want it there. I'm sure certain things are taken into consideration in terms of geographical location, how other people can basically utilize the capital. But we go back to the same point. Would the creation of 6 new regions actually increase the budget of the road minister to fix roads in those 6 new regions? Would the creation of those 6 new regions actually help the finance minister mobilize more resources? Would that make them have more electricity, create employment for people? None of those things. And I keep saying that when we distribute the national cake, I've never seen money allocated to regions per se for development. The monies actually go to the district assemblies. So creating new regions basically just create new cost centers for government. It doesn't actually create anything new in terms of what brings in revenue to the state. But guess what? It's a political decision the president took, hoping that people in those regions will say thank you for creating a region and give him some votes. So he's pressing on regardless. So we pray that they do the right thing by ensuring that they cross all the T's and dot all the I's, so that these regional capitals become effective regional capitals, not just regional capitals that we call regional capitals, and then when we send resources, we use it to look after staff rather than do things that matter to the people. We are the final stages.
Okay.
Let's see what happens in terms of.
Okay, I'm grateful.
Those things.
I know what you're making. The capitals and making sure we get it right.
Yes. Let me rely on the point raised by Kwame, as though they were my own point. Some of these things are not new. Obviously, when you even create a new district, people, chiefs would want to have the district administrative office, I mean, in their locality and all that. I remember in Kufuor's time, when Gomoa, yes, Gomoa East and West assemblies were created, the issue of Porting being the administrative head of the district became a whole issue. But I would plead with all those chiefs, opinion leaders, that they should cooperate with government. They should cooperate with government. Obviously, a town or a city would have to be chosen for the purposes of running that affairs of the new region. The fact that one town is chosen to be the administrative head does not mean that development would only be limited to that place. So this is the time to build consensus, so that we don't take the shine away from the creation of the new regions. I'm sure that the minister is doing the necessary consultations with those opinion leaders, and will not have any difficulty. The time is of the essence. We don't have the luxury of time to waste on this matter. We need development. If you go to part of the western region now, western north, you go to the OT region and all that, they don't have the time to waste at all. The people are asking for development. They want it, they've gotten it, now it's a takeoff. So opinion leaders, chiefs, political activists should cooperate and ensure that these things are completed as soon as possible without any rancor.
I'm grateful. Now let's stay with the finder. This morning we're told that the Commission of Inquiry into the Yawaso violence is starting its work. The first sitting is today. They were sworn into office by the Vice President, Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, Mr. Kofi Abuchi, the Secretary to the group, Mr. Kwadne Champon, Mr. Patrick Kwadne Champon, former IGP, and Justice Emil Short leading the park. They are starting work today. It's a story that sure you know about. Kwame, some have suggested that this commission's work is not necessary and that we could have done what they'll be doing in another form or in another way.
Right. The government has succeeded in putting a cap on many mishaps or things they created that became an embarrassment. It is not unusual for government, and a senior politician told me in the UK those days that do not set up a committee or commission to inquire anything until you know what they will bring you. In other words, once you tell people we are investigating, then everybody can go to sleep. Right. This particular case is a test case as to whether we want democracy or we want a semblance of democracy. We have a situation where just by-election, and I'm not saying that all by-elections in the past passed without any incident, but I haven't seen a by-election where this level of state-sponsored terrorism was unleashed by the state under the control of the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces
through one of his appointees, who didn't even deny it. And I'm talking about my own colleague, Brian Achampong, who said he authorized the people. In other words, the political head who is supposed to deal with policy had taken over the job of service chiefs who are supposed to do operations. Today, I don't have any problem with Honorable Brian Achampong. In another jurisdiction, Honorable Brian Achampong should have been interdicted or told to step aside for misbehavior to start with. All those individuals that we saw, and I can bet you, the police have got detailed information about who climbed onto their vehicles at a police station, who committed those crimes by the assault on people. The police has got the details. Those individuals should have been under police grips by now and been taken through the due process of justice. So you don't leave those people and call them national security and tell me you set up a committee. One of the members was somebody who couldn't even guard 77 parcels of cocaine under CCTV and tell me that they are going to find anything. I mean, with all due respect to the members of the committee, what are they going to find? Were they there? Are you telling me the committee have got better information than you and I, than the police? They don't. They probably weren't even watching television.
They wouldn't be able to show us a roadmap to dealing with political thuggery?
Justice first. What are they trying to achieve? That the hoodlums, the cretins that government is saying that they sent, that who are probably still part of the so-called national security, as well as post, and you are telling me that you are coming to make a law, or you are coming to come up with a report to say what? Henceforth, we shouldn't let them work again. I'm saying that this committee is nothing but government attempt to whitewash the whole thing. And I'm saying this will not stop. You see, sometimes maybe you will be talking about it. When the president saw these things and then never bothered about it, never went to visit the people and jump on a plane and said that he told God that when he was in opposition that he committed so much crime, he was going to build a cathedral to pacify God for his crime, and left the country. And then his vice president commissioned a committee to just look at this. What are we talking about here? This is nothing but NPP doing exactly what they did with Tor, what they did with every other, the Australian visa scandal. They hope that the committees the people they put on the committees would give them a report that they like, a report that will make them look like nothing happened. Isn't it amazing that we were told that, for instance, the Australia visa, a crime took place, but the government exonerated everybody, and yet the crime existed. So actually, who committed the crime?
Let me read this to you. This is what the chair of the commission says. He says that the commission will seek to identify the root causes of electoral violence and recommend credible and lasting solutions. No, you think this cannot be done?
That is not even. Look, was it electoral violence? No. State-sponsored terrorism. The president, the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Forces, appointee said, I send the people to go and do those things. So when you say, look, was CBP attacking PPP there? Did you see anything like that? No, this is state-sponsored. So it should be, the chairman should have been direct, but he can't be because he's been given a job by the government. He can't do anything about that. So they're not going to find anything. Look, the NPP have already said they cannot disband those people. Those people are integral part of the NPP. They are operating as a wing, and you saw those letters flying around. And Ghanaians should be aware that they are not only going to be limited to Ayawaso, they are forming regional sections of all these things. And I'm saying that this commission would come out with nothing. They can never stop anything like vigilantism. If they can stop it, the president should have been causing the arrest and the prosecution of his assignees who went and committed those terrorist acts at Ayawaso Wogon. So me, when I hear these things about commission and other things, the former IGP, as far as I'm aware, couldn't even find the 77 parcels of cocaine. Honorable Henrietta was the government nominee for ICC the other day, which she couldn't get through. Who else? Kofi Abochi. Kofi Abochi is a lecturer. He's a secretary. What is he going to do? What's his clout on that committee? I mean, this committee, with all due respect, is another collection of largely NPP sympathizers, just the way just like the EC electoral commissioner, NPP sympathizers, to do the bidding of government. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Are you not amazed when you saw all those things and the electoral commissioner says that, electoral commission chair says that this election, the template of election from now and forever, as far as she's if you want to talk about a free, fair, and transparent election, use Ayawaso Wogon as a standard. This government is taking us for a ride, and I'm saying that this cannot continue till 2020. The civil society, everybody must speak against it. If you wake up and the electoral commissioner tells you that Ayawaso Wogon, she didn't see anything wrong with it, that this is a free, fair election, and then the president sent people through his appointee, Honorable Brian Achampong, to beat people up, and all we get is we are setting up a commission. Other things.
The fact that it didn't happen at a polling station. What
was the basis for the Brian Achampong sending people to go and beat people up? Does it need to be at a polling station? And who said the thing didn't happen at the police station?
Well, the EC says it didn't happen at the polling
station. Okay, that is the point. What is she supposed to do? They removed Charlotte say because they wanted somebody who would say exactly what government wants. So Jean Mensah is not going to say anything different from what, in fact, she's a full soldier of NPP more than even Afenyo Markin.
I'm grateful. Honorable Afenyo Markin, is this commission, the commission is starting work today, is this necessary?
Well, let me proceed my answer with a quote from former President Mahama in the wake of this unfortunate incident. And he said so in Adaklu when addressing party executives. Quote, the NDC has revolutionary roots.
Yes.
And that when it comes to unleashing violence,
why are you quoting
nobody can beat us
media? Which media?
In unleashing violence, Mahama said. This is a former president of the Republic. A matter had occurred, and he says that when it comes to violence, the party he led, the party he belongs to, can unleash more violence than any party. And then he goes on with his boot for boot. Quite unfortunately, the NDC has not condemned this statement from its former leader, who is seeking to lead the party again, but it is rather being selective in its call for peace in our democracy. It's unfortunate, but I will leave it there, and the time will come for us to discuss this matter in detail. Let me now come to the issue. Whether or not the setting up of the commission is necessary. It is necessary. It is necessary because this is the first time in our political history that a government has been responsible enough to set up an independent body to look into an incident, the nature of which everybody is condemning. Look, I've been in politics all my life, 20 years in my adult life in politics. I have seen political violence. In 2012, broad daylight, as a candidate, the NDC organizer on the commercial streets of Winneba attacked me. I was campaigning openly. A gun was brought. I have seen all of this. I was not at Talensi. I was not there. But there were footage of incidents. National officers of NDC wielding guns in Talensi. Triponi MPs, NPP MPs were attacked, beaten. Akwetia, Asawasi, where my respected colleague, Honorable Muntaka, the minority chief whippers, he came to parliament through a by-election. That violence, we've never seen some in our politics before. But is that sufficient? Or should we use this as a basis to justify that Ayawaso Wogon? No.
Is that what you're
I'm saying that should we justify that? No. The president says enough is enough. Look, when it comes to vigilantism, party activists trying to protect ballot, doing this and all that, it is something that, because of certain occurrences. Look, it is painful for you to win an election and to be declared a loser. Perhaps national security did not come out with the appropriate communication, leading to this misquote, Kwame misquoting Brian Achampong. He owned up that, look, national security did a deployment. But you see, what the NDC has refused to tell Ghanaians is the fact that they got these their hawks to parade in the house of the candidates. I may say, perhaps, the national security operatives might have overreacted. But you got your let me finish. Let me land on the point.
I don't have a lot of time. I want us to.
Right. This is your. I'll come there. With respect. A lot of time. I know you don't, but let me land on this point. Go their boys. People were coming from Kaswa. Perhaps Brian should have explained that properly. But be that as it may, the question is, was that the appropriate means to repel that attempt by the NDC to rather cause mayhem on that day? No. That is why the president says, look, let's have this commission. Security is important. Security is important. Therefore, let us get into this. You have expressed concern.
You condemn the pictures we saw.
Right. Come on. I'm a human being. I'm a Ghanaian. I say to you that I don't tolerate any form of violence in our political discourse. I am telling you. And I'm saying that to get to the bottom of this, a commission of inquiry has been set up. You see, what I expect of what? To investigate, come out with recommendations, and that is where, you see, the NDC as a responsible opposition should, whatever it takes, go and present your case. You see, their chairman did something that I will forever commend him. By going to the police. Look, Ofosuan Pofu showed leadership by going to the IGP, Defense and Interior Committee, met the IGP, and the IGP confirmed that, look, the leadership of the NDC came to him. When this issue of Ahmed Swale murder came up, the NDC issued a statement and even went a step further to say that don't let us scapegoat. Let us look at everything, which was also commendable. What it is now is you, the NDC, should now go to the commission. Look, whatever you have, you've been in government, before. Rather than condemning the establishment of the commission, go to the commission. Whatever evidence you have, present it.
Please
let's get to the bottom of it, so that the outcome will guide all of us.
If you look at the mandate of the commission, B says that to identify any person responsible for or who has been involved in the event associated with violence and injuries.
So this is where
some have suggested that somebody has owned
a good point. This is a good point for Kwame and his leaders to come out and say, look, this gentleman, there's a footage. This gentleman is a party foot soldier, not a national security operative. This person did that. You say you have some the evidence. I think it's a golden opportunity.
In this direction, are you saying that Mr. Brian Achampong wants to know the persons involved because he says he sent them there?
I'm saying Brian obviously would be invited. The IGP obviously could be invited. NDC leadership would have to respond to the invitation of the commission.
Well, I'm saying the party said they wouldn't be part of
the So you see where the problem is? There's a problem. You are calling on civil society to speak against it. Unlike before, you see, that is where the temptation is. In the past, government officials only spoke about some of these things and never took action. So in one breath, you say that whatever happened must be condemned. The president is not only stopping there, he says, look, let there be a commission of inquiry. Let an institution get into this so that we have the records. Now you come out again to condemn it. You say, oh, they are affiliated to
when we come back, I'll give you another chance to
react. What kind of approach is this? What kind of approach is this?
Let me take
It is not right.
Come back. Stay there. We'll be back in a moment. All right, we'll go back to the issue there, but let's watch this. The residents of Pantine, Bokobi, and areas around there are being attacked by land guards. We're told that they are living in fear because of the distress that these persons are subjecting them to. We're told that these land guards have now been on the rampage, destroying property belonging to some of them. Let's watch this.
The land guards are being used as enforcers to terrorize residents in Pantine, Abokobi. Among residents, the land guards also extort money from property owners and developers. According to some of the residents, the police and local authorities are not helping to bring an end to the menace of land guards. A resident and a retired army officer, Samuel Gozi, indicated these land guards double as armed robbers at night.
We don't even sleep. Sleepless night that we are having. Our children going to school become difficult. People's property that they've acquired for so many years, they will only use one day to destroy it. Anybody who encroaches on my land, I have a gun, I have lances it. So anybody who comes there, whatever happens, is out of the order.
This area used to be a recreation center. It has been razed down by the land guards. A resident, Ben Tete, noted the land guards do not care about documents covering property they destroy.
It has been a threat. So we, the residents over here, we made an association. But we could see that the association is not holding any longer because they'll come and threaten you.
Another resident, David Gray, observed their complaints to the police and the local authority.
All right, welcome back. We'll tell you more about that issue later on. Kwame, a quick reaction and then we'll move on.
Right, you see, I think President Mahama saved the situation that day. I'm happy my colleague confirmed that when the hoodlums of the NPP under the authority of the president, the commander-in-chief,
don't say that.
Unleashed that on them.
That is not correct. That is not factual.
Some people related to NDC were also marshalling up to go there. So the comment by President Mahama was basically to tell them, don't go there. I will sound a caution. And this is what President Mahama said.
Now, are you saying what I quoted?
Yeah,
did he say what
you selected it, and this is from 1st February 2019, Daily Graphic Online, and he says, I want to sound a caution that the NDC has revolutionary roots. Indeed, I know we have revolutionary roots, and when it comes to unleashing violence on one, no one can beat us. If you want to unleash violence, you can't beat us because we can match you. It is just that we midwife this country's democracy, and that is why we must be the first to respect it. That is why we are acting in the we are acting as a party that is docile and respecting the rule of law. But if we believe that the government cannot protect our people, and we believe that the government is using its vigilante groups and illegal forces to intimidate and harass our people, we would advise ourselves. You see, the tape you just played, you heard what the guy said. He said, we have reported to the police, they won't do anything. I have a gun if they come again. It's just like you are home. Somebody came and beat your mother up. You didn't even chase the person to retaliate. You said, the next time you come to this house to attack my mother, I'll respond. And they are saying we should respond. Right. Let me repeat what President Mahama said. For the cretins that have misbehaved there under the authority of the president, the law enforcement must deal with them. But henceforth, whether at Ayawaso, Chereponi, Adaklu, if they show their ugly faces again, guess what? We will match them. Because peace cannot be done by only one person.
You do not think that that will cause chaos, and so the law enforcement agencies must do their work?
No, correct yourself. What happened at Ayawaso was chaos. Are you saying that just because NDC was docile, that they beat our people up, that some people's legs are going to be cut? we should be the ones who will remain docile at all costs. Why are you not telling the NPP that thing there was entirely the creation of them?
Is the police not the body mandated to deal with this?
But the police were standing there.
When the NDC call on the police to do what they're supposed to do? We did
call on the police, and indeed you saw that some of the people, in fact, the police commander who was there was trying to stop the cretins from misbehaving. He couldn't control them. And that is why today police have got all the records of all the people who misbehave. They can't do anything. You saw what 7 police officers said, Dr. Agozo, and then they said the architecture of the Ghana police is such that they can never be professional.
Okay.
So I am saying,
all right.
Yes, the constitutional.
Right.
The constitutional architecture.
Right. I'm saying we're hitting the top of the hour, so we need to change the topic quickly.
The last thing I'm saying that if anybody thought, including Reverend Asante, thinks that they would cow us to be the docile ones when he couldn't even condemn those things, if he thinks he's part of government, that I Kwame Agboja
he's not part of government.
I don't
care.
He
chairs the peace.
But what he said, his actions, his utterances doesn't show that he's for everybody. It shows that he's on the part of government. When you come to Adaklu and come and behave like that, you want to go scot-free. Let NPP get it and their agents. Okay. We are not going to sit down for them to take this constitution for granted. When a president, a commander-in-chief, actually unleashes terror on the citizenry, he loses that legitimacy of being a leader.
Honorable Afinyamakin, like you heard in that story where the man says that, well, I have a gun. Is it a situation where the police simply is not being responsive? So these things will continue? Is it a situation like that?
Right. You see, let us compare 2 situations. We have had a violent political occurrence in this country. Not once, not twice, not thrice, several. In all of these, we had a government in place. The government did not deem it necessary to set up anybody to even investigate. In fact, we don't even have any evidence of prosecution. A similar thing has occurred today. Government says, no, let us set up an independent presidential commission.
How independent is that?
Instead of those complaining, cooperating, they now want to go a notch higher by condemning that commission even before it started to work. I think that it is most unfair. Because you see, if you are a player in a dispensation like this, it is expected of you to respect efforts like this. But if you begin to condemn, and then you now say that, oh, you are ready to fight, and that to defend. Oh, please. Indirect way, you are telling us that the hawks that you have armed, you have trained to go and fight. And I'm telling those innocent souls, and like Honorable Mr. Guzitano said, John Mahama's children will not be there. Those hawks that are being deployed.
Where?
Kwame Agboja's children will not be there. So don't follow them. Guzi has said it.
Who is Guzi?
Guzitano said it. A responsible political leader would urge his followers to cooperate with this commission. You've made police report. You've gone to the police. Now you are even, some of the hardliners are even attacking the national chairman. That why are you using due process?
I'm not aware.
That is the only means. Today, you, the NDC, you are raising issues of a partisan police. Why? All those constitutional provisions we have, giving authority to the president to make appointments. When in opposition, we raised some of these things. We did not just raise them in the media.
The people who are
we went to court. The court pronounced on some of these things. The appointment of EC boss. I was in court. Richard Sky was my client. We challenged the authority of the president to initiate the process. The court said no. They interpreted the law. Appointment of Supreme Court judges. Ghana Bar Association went to court. Do you, the NDC, see, I want to advise you. It's not just enough to raise the matters. Use the institutions to get the outcome.
We have made a complaint to the police.
Please.
And I'm saying that the commission has been set up.
I'm grateful.
A responsible political party.
It's a party commission. They won't come out.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Let's take some comments and then we'll come back.
That's fine.
Wrap up.
It's up to you.
Johnny, good morning once again.
Good morning, Senior Bright. And on to WhatsApp. Aziz Donline says government has established a 3-member commission of inquiry into the violence of that mad last Thursday's by-election at the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency in Accra. The commission comprises Jesselem Short, chairperson. Well, we know all of that already. Thank you, Aziz Donla. Good morning, Brights. The MPP communicators sought to make reference to the Chereponi by-election to justify what happened in Ayawaso West Wogon is incorrect. They are similar and not same. The Chereponi clashes happened 2 clear days before polls. Therefore, they can't compare apples with mangoes. Moses in Chereponi. If you are a criminal and you commit crimes and get your colleague criminals to help you cover up your crimes, be assured that your crimes will no more be covered up when you appear before God in the life hereafter, and you will definitely receive your punishment. Asanko Santa Maria. This is proverbial, I'm sure. TV3, good morning. Honestly, if education in Ghana can improve, then Napo and his deputy should step down. They are indeed confused. Oh, Irade. Isaac, Edem, Kanda. A.U. Farouk in Tamale says, good morning to you all. What fulfilled promises is President Nana Akufo-Addo talking about? This corrupt MPP government cannot throw dust into our eyes. Good morning. I want to say that when you come to Burma Hills, around Burma Camp, 37 police are now taking the work of Lands Commission. Really? Good morning, TV3. The members of the committee to investigate the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election violence cannot be trusted to do a fair job. Nothing will come out of this because these are their own people who committed the crime. The president himself will come out to clear them before the committee report comes out. Waste of taxpayers' money. Osman Burgson in Tamale. And good morning, Bryce. The brutality which occurred at Ayawaso West Wogon by-election was rather disgraceful and pitiful. If those bandits and hooligans were deployed at the blind side of our security operatives on duty, then it reveals the lack of coordination with our national security, and the international community must be laughing at the security incompetence of Ghana. Isaku in Tamale. Mukaila Jonas Adia in Keri says Ghanaians have really voted for a president of vision and foresight. At long last, President Akufo-Addo is going to adore the newly created regions. These, among others, are the core benefits of the ordinary voter. President Akufo-Addo will continue to champion on the path of development and well-being because he believes in a fair share of the national cake. Let's maintain the change we voted on. Finally, government, Good Morning TV3, setting up the Commission of Inquiry to investigate the violence at Ayawaso by-election is a waste of the taxpayers' money because there can't be more evidence than the video footage making rounds in the media. When your cattle are missing, you don't go about looking for it in a hen coop. You will certainly not find them. The Commission of Inquiry is much ado about nothing. David in Sandema is worried. Thank you very much.
Right. Quick one. You remember the late Macron demonstration? Violence was unleashed on the demonstrators. A Ghanaian lost an eye. Gabi was whipped. There were video footage. With respect, in all fairness, did the police even set up anybody to investigate? Did President Mahama commission?
Who did that?
Hold on.
Who did that?
Hold on. Did President Mahama deem it fit to even condemn it publicly? You see, if Nanado, in all fairness, has set up this commission, the least we can all do, civil society, NDC, all stakeholders, look, is to cooperate, give the evidence, let the recommendation come, let them do their work rather than condemn it. The approach the NDC has adopted is in bad faith, it's inappropriate. You don't do policy. You've been in government before. You had every opportunity to address some of these things when they occurred. You failed. Cooperate so that the right things are done. Nobody wants political violence.
I am not aware that any security minister asked that Gabi should be molested. I'm not aware. This one is a state-sponsored.
So he was just molested.
Oh, whoever did that must be punished. And I'm saying that.
And did you call for that?
But
you were in parliament.
When you have a
did you raise it?
When the minister says I asked them to do that. That's different. But you know, I have two issues. I've been noticing some since he managed to, or he succeeded in removing the leadership of University of Winnipeg.
Education.
Yes, he's and installed his own leadership. How is the school doing now? But that's just by the way.
I was going to ask him, but quickly, we'll talk about that.
I'm told that the president said he told God when he was in opposition that he'll build a cathedral. In fact, he should use his own money and his own time. When you commit so much crime and you want to pacify God, you don't do that by building a cathedral. Otherwise, you need to build a very big one at Ayawaso Wagon. This project is so much misplaced. Do you know what? The president actually left the country when he asked people to attack people, and then went to international prayer meeting in the US, taking all the top brass of the government with him just to raise funds to do this. I think people of Adaklu would have wished if he was raising funds to build even a KVIP in Adaklu, rather than doing this, disgracing us. By the way, how is the city doing this morning?
Okay, Honorable Afenyaman, can wrap up for me.
Well,
University of Education, how is it doing?
How is your leadership? How is your leadership of University of Education doing?
Well, if you want to know my views on the leadership, you know that there is still victimization
going on the campus.
Because, for instance,
so the new leaders are not better, not better than the.
They are disappointing.
Oh, really?
If you want to know, I will not hide.
Wow.
And if they don't change, I'm sure that the event that led to those
is that a threat?
Oh well, if Dr. Jinapo is due for his ASO Prof promotion and somebody is denying him, then I'm sorry, Vice Chancellor and his registrar.
Okay. We'll have time to talk about it. I'm grateful. Alexander, for your market.
They know,
MP for,
and I will not protect them.
Futu.
You can't victimize
Abuja is MP for Adaklu.
Right. I will not sit down for them to victimize me.
How's the CD doing today?
We're grateful.
Against the dollar.
Stay with us. There's more coming up on the show.
Last Friday, Community Connect was out there as Lejo Kuku on a missions program, and some details came to light. The disagreements that some persons with disability have in terms of the disbursement of a 3% allocation to them in the common fund. They also have raised red flags about transparency, about favoritism, and the lack of proper coordination and monitoring on the part of the National Council for Persons with Disability. Take a look at this story. When we come back, we'll get into the conversation.
The World Health Organization figures indicate there are over 2 million disabled persons in Ghana. Majority of them are impoverished and marginalized. Inaccessible public facilities, education and other social services are major challenges. Government passed a disability bill in June 2006, but implementation is far from desirable. The policy on giving 3% of the common fund to persons with disability came as relief to many. It is aimed at reducing poverty among persons with disability, particularly those outside the formal sector. But this objective appeared to be far from being achieved. Issues of improper management, monitoring, disbursement and documentation of the funds have been the challenge for persons with disability. The guidelines for the disbursement of the funds is silent on the number of times and amount an individual or organization can access, compounding the situation. Able persons are allegedly accessing the 3% common fund allocated to the disabled. At the 3FM Community Connect program at Teshi Triblo in Accra, some persons with disabilities showed they were not happy with how the Lejokuku Assembly disburses the 3% of the disability funds to their members.
There is the need that for every disbursement, there should be a report being served to the National Council as well as our rep on the committee. But from the report that I've been hearing from most of the district, being that if you even go forth to request for a report of such, they may tell you that such a report is for administrative purposes.
We are not happy about those reports. Right. But here is the case, the report is not going. Is it not the duty of the council to also ensure that those reports should be made available to them so that they can also monitor and then confirm what is wrong and what is right?
In the case of the Lejokuku area, for example, the fund manager, Mr. Bote, had not been served a copy of the report, but the report I think for the first quarter of 2018 had gone to the council and the fund manager in the locality didn't have a copy of the report. Is that normal?
That is not normal, because once the fund manager is in charge of the fund, who prepares the report, who signs the report, who finalizes the report, how does the report goes? There are something we should be looking at here, whether there is a wrong coordination somewhere, or maybe there is some kind of excuse my language to say that negligence in the part of the fund manager as well. Because if I am the leader, I'm the manager.
Well, he said he requested for it, but
from who?
From the secretary.
He should be involved
from
in every process. He should be involved in every process. So if you now sit down and then at the end of the day you request from the secretary, are you not? You should order for it. You are not requesting. So I don't think he's being honest.
Let's talk about the allocation of the amounts. And constituency by constituency, if you like district by district, we've had people have problems with it. What is this supposed to be? I put in an application, and then somebody vets it and then gives me the money.
Yeah.
But is there no standardized figures that everybody must get?
Yeah, you see, what the purpose of the fund itself is to alleviate persons with disability from poverty into dignified labor. Their social integrity has to.
That's the vision of the.
Now that's the vision. So it is not just about giving the money. Let's say that the money is there. Abdul Wahab, I have brought my application that okay, I want to do business. Maybe the kind of business I want to do is I want to buy a fridge and begin to sell some drinks. Now the fund management committee, they are supposed to vet the application.
Okay.
Find out what I am trying to do. Do I have that capacity to be able to do it?
Okay.
Do I need any capacity development so that when I get the money, it will be able to achieve what I want?
Okay.
They have to do all these assessments.
Right.
Then do their own findings and said, okay, we can approve 20,000 cedis or 2,000 cedis or 150 for Adam Abdul Wahab. And they must ensure that whatever I am requesting the money for should be used for that. But here is the case, people apply for the money to use it to do their businesses.
Okay.
Somebody is requesting for 2,500. How do you conduct the vetting? You end up giving the person 200 Ghana cedis. How will the person use it to do something that should have cost him 2,005?
The understanding I got from Mr. Deborah was that Mr. Deborah, by the way, for those who are not familiar with him, is the national board chairman of the National Council for Persons Living with Disability. But Mr. Deborah pointed out that these days they don't give money anymore. They don't give out money anymore. What happens is that they will find an equipment. So you want to sell ice water, they will find you a deep freezer, or something like that. Or you want to sew, they will find you a sewing machine. That arrangement is also not cool.
Yes, it's cool, and that is a new development in the common fund. And that one came as a result of the common fund administrator issuing administrative guideline to support the district assemblies to disburse the common fund. Of course, that arrangement is helping, except people who have wrong understanding about the district assembly.
How do you mean?
What I mean is that some person with disability feel that money is for us.
Okay.
And since it is for us, it is something that we can just walk in at any time and collect the money and use it to do what we want. Some people even come to see it as something, social protection that can offer them like daily bread or whatever. So those people who had it that wrong, they are not cool with this arrangement.
Okay.
But the object of this arrangement is that it should be programmed. If Abdul Wahab, is set up,
okay,
maybe next time I will not even apply for
the
because
fund you'll be sustainable.
And I will be opted out.
Okay.
I'll be sustainable, or I'll be okay. Then another person also comes
in.
And gradually we are facing the poverty out of persons with disabilities.
I see. So in this instance, like you said, somebody puts in an application for 2,000 cedis and then gets 200 cedis. I put in an application for 2,000 to get a deep freezer. then somebody somewhere decides that, well, I need 200 cedis to buy a tabletop fridge instead. How does it work that way? How does the tabletop fridge help me in my ice water business?
So that is where the problem lies. And that is where we blame the fund management committees and those who do the vetting and the assessment to be able to do that disbursement. But normally they put the blame on persons with disability that sometimes about 100 people can apply. And when the 100 people apply, each of them want the money to do one thing or the other.
Right.
They want to satisfy everybody who has brought in application. But at the end of the day, satisfying all of them does not solve the problem. The truth is, select some group of them, a certain number that you can actually set up. And set them up. The next quarter, you select another group. The following quarter, you do the same. But if
you bump everybody together,
bring us together, you'll be giving us 200, 200. All the 100 people we will get. Next time, we'll still get the 200. And we still go back to the street back. You understand?
Abdul is my guest in studio. He's the communications officer of the Ghana Federation for Persons with Disabilities. But let's go on to the telephone line now. Joshua Makubu is a man who is an advocate for persons with disability. Joshua, good morning and thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you to you and your cherished viewers.
Joshua, I want to start the conversation this way with you. So I have been to about 3-4 districts, and the problem that seems to run through is the fact that either persons with disability are not getting enough. Somebody puts in an application for 2,000 cedis, and then they could get like 150 cedis or 200 cedis to start a business. And then it came to light that the numbers involved are too many. Is it possible that persons with disability can talk about mergers so that you want to get into ice water business? I also want to do a similar thing. We can buy one big freezer, get the water, and get into a merger. Is this possible? I think we lost Joshua on the phone line. Abdul, let me put that question to you. So mergers are really not things that a lot of entrepreneurs in this country like. But you and I can go into the fund and say, look, we want to start an ice water business. If your excuse is that you can't find one freezer for me and one freezer for Abdul, can we have a mutual account to give us both a freezer and then water so we can share and start a business together? Is that option possible?
That option is possible and it's not possible.
Okay, let's start with the possibility.
The possibility is that the two of us, whether we are families or we are friends, we have the same objectives, we have the same aim, we have the same vision. There is that mutual understanding between me and you. We have sat down and analyzed to agree on how do we share the profits. When there is cost, how do we share it? All those things, when they are agreed upon, and the two of us still feel that that better understanding will continue to exist in a very good relation between me and you in business terms, fine, we can go ahead. But the problem is, when we do that, today that we need the money, and today that we just need to set up the business, we can agree to all those possible and impossible terms and conditions. But once the business begins to grow, party A will feel being cheated.
You will have an agreement, won't you? An agreement on how much you're investing, how much profit comes in, what to share.
But once we move forward, for human beings, problem is likely to come out there.
One key question, we're wrapping up on this one, was the fact that the persons with disability, Lejokuku, for example, want to know how much comes into the kitty at every quarter and how much of it is disbursed and how is this. They want a report on that. Does that report come to you, for example?
Yeah, for example, anytime the District Assembly's Common Fund Administrator releases the funds to the disabled accounts, we are shared a copy of how much goes into each district.
I see.
And the right thing that should have been done is that they take records of all those who apply for the fund.
Okay.
Those that they were able to give, the amount that they give, and then the machines that they have bought and whatever, they have to state all those things. Then at the end, we will know that this amount has been used for this, and this amount have also been used for that. So at the end of the day, that report was supposed to go to the National Council on Persons with Disability, where they will also track and then find out that, okay, 2,000 cedis was given to maybe North Gonja district. However, they have spent 150, so they still have this amount sitting there, so they can track the process. But that is one issue or one thing. The guidelines to the District Assembly Common Fund has not been very clear on. That is why they are thinking about.
And I noticed that in your guidelines, there are no sanctions for people who flout the guidelines.
Exactly.
There are no sanctions.
That's what.
How do you build a law like that? A guideline that has no punitive arrangement. So somebody is supposed to submit a report. Somebody is supposed to do A, B, C, D. They don't do it, and nothing happens to them. How does that work?
So you know, the guidelines have such gaps, and there is a need to review the guidelines as soon as possible. And I think that one of the things the guidelines should also be looking at is we have different areas that the fund should be supporting. Like the lady was asking about assistive devices and others. Exactly. The guidelines should be able to state that, okay, 5% of the funds should go to assistive devices, 1% should do this, 20% should go to business. So in that case, tracking...
There's a standardization that's
happening. Understand.
Abdul, thank you very much indeed. Most grateful. Adam Abdul Wahab is my guest. He's been my guest. He's the communications officer for the Ghana Federation of Persons Living with Disability. Adam, thank you very much. We'll be back with a conversation on cybersecurity, how to protect children and adults from the cyber warfare. Welcome back, and I've been joined by two university dons who will help us in a conversation on cybersecurity. Last week, or the week before that, we started a conversation and we ended at stranger danger and how we have not been able to bring our minds to that conversation. This week, we're continuing the conversation with Dr. Richmond Afuakwa. He is the head of Department of Forensics Sciences at the University of Cape Coast, UCC. He's here with Dr. David Ofosu Hamilton. He's a lecturer of cybersecurity and digital forensics. Gentlemen, thank you. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning. Let me start with you, Doc. On the stranger danger note where we ended the other time, if we pick up the conversation from then, three things up the top of your mind from your professional point of view. How do we protect ourselves from this stranger danger thing? Maybe a little refresher.
Okay, thank you very much, and nice to be here once again. Three things on how we protect ourselves from the stranger danger. Like we started last week, I think regarding our children, one of the some of the things we can do, the three most important things we can do, is one, monitoring them. And their online presence, what they do, and who they are chatting with. Two, making sure that the computer or the laptop or the smartphones they are using have the necessary protection that will protect them from strangers. And three, making sure that they do not meet the strangers they meet physically. They do not physically meet the strangers that they meet online. These are very important things that yes.
I see. Dave, you want to add something to this quickly?
Yes, thanks for the opportunity. We need to also read the end user agreements or licenses. Most of us hardly read that.
True.
And most of these apps that come, the first thing they want to do is access your pictures, your documents, everything on your mobile apps.
Absolutely.
They always try to access it. So once you're able to read it, it will inform you, and you can educate your kid or the child too.
Sometimes people say it's too long. For example, WhatsApp. It comes up, you download the application from the Google Play Store. It's on your phone. And the end user agreement is too long. But you want to chat. Between skipping it and reading it, What do you advise?
You skip it at your own risk, because now our data is now money.
Okay.
People are trading it for business. That is why we're able to personalize some of these adverts to you.
Right.
For instance, you like music. You can easily go online, just Google.
Okay.
Maybe a saxophone.
Right.
The next moment in your Facebook account, you see saxophone being advertised for you.
Right. Right.
You
That's
get it?
true.
So our data is currency. Don't just put anything online and think that you go scot-free. A lot of things can be done.
So I buy a laptop computer for my niece, who's turned 14. She needs it to work, to study, to research. Have I put her in danger?
No, you have not. But the thing is, if you don't protect her, then you have put her in danger.
How do I protect her?
Yes, first and foremost, a teenager at that age would like to explore.
Okay.
At that developmental stage, their minds are exploring everything. They want to understand what the computer is giving them. They want to understand what they are giving the computer.
Okay.
So it is left to you to make sure that the necessary protection, by protection I mean the necessary antiviruses, the necessary firewalls, the necessary parental controls are put in place in the computer, laptop, software, whatever, to make sure that intruders don't get access. Because once they do, and with the end user agreement, on a funny note, there was a friend who said that these apps, I think, are developed by wives, because apps want to always know where you are.
Right.
They want to get access to your camera. They want to get access to your location. They want to get access to everything.
Right.
So anybody at all, a stranger, can trace this young person and know wherever he is or she is, or whatever he or she is doing. So it is up to us as parents to make sure that the necessary protection is given to these children right after we buy them these gadgets.
So I buy this computer from a shop. It's a second-hand laptop, but it's strong. And then I go to Abosukai. The guys there, I get them to install the Office suite on it. Then they tell me they've put antivirus and everything on it. But all these are just cracked stuff. They didn't buy them. Am I in danger?
Yes, you are, because most of these apps and then this software that we download, they are free.
Okay.
And there's nothing free online.
There isn't?
No. Once it's free, then someone wants something extra from it.
I see.
Now, if you don't take time and you download everything on your PC freely, that is where viruses, malwares can easily have access to your data. What you can do is you can go to the right institutions where they have licensed softwares that come with their own security that can protect you online.
Dog, so there are some of the sites. I mean, you go onto Google, you search for a website, you click it, it opens up, and then there's a cookie that you must click onto before it grants you access. Without it, you can't get there. How dangerous is it?
Very. I mean, immediately it's asking you to give rights to your information, you are putting your digital information. And you know, the danger here is that our economy is turning digital. You see, everything about us is getting digital.
Okay.
You possibly have your credit card or Visa card information on your computer.
Right.
And you are clicking your Visa card information away. You are clicking your personal information away.
That's what it means?
Yes, of course.
Wow.
You see, with time, what is going to happen is that we've not gotten there yet,
Okay.
where we get to the point where there's identity theft and all these. But if we are not careful and we don't educate ourselves, we don't tell ourselves, learn the very basics when it comes to some of these stuff, then we are selling ourselves away. We are selling our personal information and everything out.
I am shaking at this point.
don't, because there is hope. The hope is that we are still at a very young stage of this whole thing. I mean, Ghana has not developed to the point that the developed world has.
Right.
So
there is hope in the sense that we still have time to talk about this, and TV3 has taken the initiative.
Right.
You've begun the conversation. We still have time to educate ourselves as parents, as guardians, and as adults. We still have time to educate these young chaps, young children, and show them, tell them what the do's and don'ts are once they're online.
Let's look at the curriculum. Yes. In the basic school, ICT is taught, JSS is taught as well. Even in secondary school, some bit of ICT is taught as well. Does it include these things that we're discussing, the dangers that come along with your exposure to IT infrastructure?
It doesn't really highlight so much on cybersecurity.
Why not?
From the framers, I think we may have to go to the books and then edit or update it, so that once you get to maybe upper primary, you know that you just don't go online and start clicking. You know, now those born before computer, I call them BBCs. Our parents, most of the time before 1980, they need to read a lot.
Okay.
Because now the kids are just about 5-6 years, and they are using our phones, our tablets, our computers.
Exactly.
And they're really moving very fast. Wow. So we need to educate. So education is very, very important. So we need to go back and update. That is why the University of Cape Coast is, as of now, working on a curriculum or a course, a program, that every student that enters the University of Cape Coast will come out cybersecurity conscious.
Wow.
Yes.
I think that I'll doff my hat off for you. But Doc, so this child who is about just 8 years old likes to play video games, and he likes to go onto the internet to play them. And I get the sense that a lot of these people who want to attack children use the things that they like. How do you know that this game you're downloading is clean, is safe, or is not? You go onto Google Play Store. How do you know that what you're downloading is safe or is not?
The games, most of the games are safe, Johnny. Okay. But the thing is that at every level, the child wants to explore.
Right.
So the child begins by playing the game alone in his room, the comfort of his room. And then playing alone becomes boring.
Okay.
Maybe he wants a friend to come and for him to play with the friend.
I see.
Being the parent, the 21st century parent, you won't like people entering your houses and playing games with their children. So the child is alone and finds somebody online.
Wow.
And starts playing with a person online.
Okay.
Starts chatting with how do I set the game to the next level? Then the child gets direction.
Okay.
So last 2 weeks I told you that sometimes we feel that once the children are at home, they are safe. But you know, the child can be in the house, in his room, and be chatting with somebody far away in California.
Wow.
Playing a game with that person. So these game consoles we are buying for our children, they are okay. So far as we are able to tell them that and monitor, as I said, monitor. This is the level at which you play.
Okay.
If you want to play with somebody, I have to know who you are playing the game with.
Okay.
What you are talking about. Because it can transcend from just playing games to something else. Because you don't know who the person is.
Let me wrap up this conversation with you. The culture of Wi-Fi. People, you know, somebody walks in here and says, oh, can you give me a Wi-Fi code? And let me check. He puts a laptop. How dangerous is it?
It is very dangerous. I was in one of the airports in Africa, and I'd connected to the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
By the time I realized someone across me, in front of me, was having access to my PC.
Really?
Yes. That is how dangerous it can be. So once you get a Wi-Fi, make sure that the password is strong enough. And then you shouldn't just connect to any Wi-Fi that is free.
But it was because you knew,
yes.
So you could tell.
Yes.
But there are people who have had intrusions and they didn't know.
Yes.
Wow.
So you shouldn't just take any Wi-Fi which is free for free.
You know, once you connect to the Wi-Fi, he connects and I connect.
Okay.
We are communicating with our computers.
I see.
And if his firewalls and his antivirus are, they have very low settings, I can easily intrude without him knowing.
Wow.
So yes, it becomes that dangerous.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been served. Notice, and we all need to be safe. Doc, we will have this conversation again because every day gets much more interesting. But I'm grateful for your time. I'm very grateful. Dr. Richmond Afwakwa is the head of Department of Forensics Sciences at the University of Cape Coast, and he was here with David Ofosu Hamilton. He's a lecturer, cybersecurity and digital forensics. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And stay protected. Monitor your children. Know who they are talking with, what they are doing. Protect the gadgets that you give to them. Have parental control. And most importantly, keep an eye on them. It's very important. It's for your own safety. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Know that if you can think it and your heart can believe it, only you can achieve it. Good morning.